Okay, I'm gonna just make sure that I'm not too much for TikTok. Welcome to the live. I'm Supergirl. We're gonna do some multiversity today. But before we get started on that, I am going to play some music for us. So I wanted to go live a little bit earlier than I have been, but alas, such is time. So I hope you're all well. Happy Sunday. Patrice, Anna Marie Evans, Warbreed, Kevin, Edmund. All right, guys. So I'm gonna play some intro music. Fun fact. We're gonna read Multiversity today, but we're also gonna take a look at Justice League Unlimited. I wanted to have a different Supergirl cosplay ready for you guys today, but I've been a little behind in my projects and my sewing machine is in Winnipeg. So I have to reconfigure some of the things. Like my Starfire cosplay, which was half done, is in Winnipeg, but that's okay, you guys, because I'm going to be there on Friday. So I'm going to have an interesting schedule for the rest of December, which I will be releasing tomorrow for Monday. And if you're subscribed to my newsletter, which is Working the Cosmic Beat with Rachel Z, because if you guys haven't noticed, that most superheroes, their alter egos tend to be reporters, right? Like Clark Kent is a news reporter at the Daily Planet, right? And he falls in love with Lois Lane, who's also a reporter. But Supergirl herself actually, I think in some comic books she like works for Catco and such. So there's some like, I think, a double entendre there, or like a double meaning there behind like the idea of telling stories and being a reporter and being at the heart of the truth of situations and being a superhero, right? As like an alter ego and like who's the real personality, right? There's my Bluetooth. Hi, Viklik. How's it going? Happy Sunday, guys. Today, I decided that we're going to go back into, you can see here. So I've been working on a Mary Marvel cosplay that I've been making myself. Oh my goodness. And you guys can see here my stencil for the lightning bolt on the chest. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to read a little bit from Multiversity. Warbreed, what's mine? I don't know what the question is, but welcome to Sunday. I'm gonna actually hold on. I have to the Penguin invites you to co-host. Penguin, give me like 20 minutes to battle if we can. So that I have music and such. Warbreed, great question. Alter ego, my alter ego. So you know what? That's a great question, Warbreed. I actually on Friday went to I'm part of a studio, an artist photography studio here in Toronto, called iDot Studio. It's in Kensington Market, which it's like really cool, eclectic vibe. So I'm going to be filming parts of the movie that I'm funding on Indiegogo there. Parts there and parts in Winnipeg. It's called The Dragon Warriors Escape from District 6, where dragons are basically invoked using different dance moves. And so dances, like types of dances, like shuffle dance versus samba versus hip hop versus merengue or sensual burlesque or pole or like the haka from warrior dances. These different dances invoke different energies, like dragon energies, right? So in my universe, the dragon also represents the kundalini snake, which is wrapped at the base of your spine. And so, when you have like kundalini rising, it's like your energy rising through all of your energy chakras so that you're fully activated. So depending on what styles of dance you resonate with, I'm a big believer that everyone is a dancer, everyone is an artist, everyone is a singer. It's just about finding what key let me show you the whole fit. You know what though, I've gotten in trouble for this outfit before, so let me be a little bit reserved about it, so you can kind of see my my stars and stuff. So, I also, it's funny because, oh, this is like the leotard Supergirl. So it's like I usually wear her for my Supergirl 1985 because in Crisis on Infinite Earth, Supergirl died actually in the month and year of my birth. So that's kind of crazy for me. I almost feel like the energy archetype of Supergirl lives in me in a weird way. I relate to her on many levels in the sense of never feeling like I fit in, never feeling like I was like anybody else that I knew. And this is also because my mom's Filipino and my dad is South African. And so I grew up in the prairies in Winnipeg. And of course, like, there weren't any half South African Filipino people there. And then I wasn't Filipino enough to be like part of the Filipino crews and like the Filipino hip hop community there. And I wasn't like South African enough to be, you know what I mean? Like, so I was like, okay, like I'm like my own thing. And so when my sister was born, we were kind of like this crew of two, and we used to make these whole big fantastical worlds together and like world build and play RPG games because my dad was a professor in computer science. So I got to play like Realms back on like PC and like World of Warcraft with my friend Laura. So like all of this like idea of, how should I put it? Someone on one of you guys termed it really well, like imagination therapy, right? This concept of playing with where you are in your mental state as a way to heal certain aspects of your inner child. If you hadn't actually, would be that. I have a proper Supergirl cosplay. This one is, as I said, it's like more of my, I'll call it like my naughty Supergirl, like less clothing kind of thing. Hi, Pokey. Oh, and hi, Anthony Sparks. Welcome to the live. We're going to be doing Multiversity tonight. It's going to be fun. Thank you, Warbreed. I appreciate it. And you actually just watched the second movie today. Which second movie? I'm I'm lost in space time. So let me get some. So I'm actually working on a trailer as well for my movie on Indiegogo, and I'm going to be filming that trailer on Wednesday. TBD if that will be live or not. I was actually just talking to my hubby. I'm like, can we do a live on Wednesday? And he's like, I don't know. We're not really prepared for that. I'm like, fine. The FNAF. The Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh my gosh. Funny story about Five Nights at Freddy's. This may be related, may not be related, but when I was in grade 2, my birthday party was at Chuck E. Cheese in Winnipeg, and Chuck E. Cheese had those like animatronic like mouse and all that kind of stuff. And there's a video clip of me crying my eyes out as the animatronics are like beside me singing happy birthday. So Five Nights at Freddy's has some like strange, like I like face my shadow watching those movies kind of thing. I haven't seen the second movie though yet. Did you like it? I wanted to put on some synth wave. Come on, baby. I've been working on some like 80s tracks. Oh, I need to connect to the internet. You guys know the song Listen to Your Heart by Roxette. There's a dance remix for it that I want to do shuffle dance to because I haven't shuffled in a long time. So I had a really beautiful shuffle instructor for a long time named Alex. Hi, Alex, if you end up watching this. I did a podcast show with her in my old format of doing shows, and we talked about like shuffling as a very, I don't know if like any of you guys shufflers, have you guys shuffled before? So me and my hubby, when we talk about like music and dance routines and stuff, it's hard for me to pick just one style that I am. Just like when you guys ask me like, who's your favorite superhero? I'm like, that's very difficult for me to answer because I have many favorites. It just depends on like my mood, and it depends on, I guess, the time, right? Let's see here. Alexander Free, am I cool with Catwoman? I love Catwoman. I love Catwoman so much. That vibe. I'm always so impressed by women who can hold the femme fatale vibe. I love it. It's so sexy. It's so hot. It's so like rare. I love it. Some of my friends have told me that like they can see me as like a Catwoman. Like I had a whole conversation with my girlfriends the other day when we were doing a photo shoot. They're like, "Oh, well, what villain would you play?" And I'm like, I wouldn't really play a villain. I'm kind of like fairy godmother, chaotic good kind of situation. I don't, I've dealt with so much darkness and villainy and cruelty in my life growing up that I don't, like, it really doesn't sit well with me to like play bad. I mean, I have played bad in the past before. I've hopefully owned up to situations where, like, for example, I was just thinking about this the other day. A really good friend, like, there's always like girl code with like, you don't date a guy that your friend has a crush on, for example, right? Or you like, you know what I mean? Like, so, um, but then it gets kind of tricky too, right? Like who gets to lay claim on crushes? But anyways, I did a proper girl no because one of my ex-boyfriends in Winnipeg was actually my good girlfriend, her ex. And it was kind of like I remember how it all kind of happened too. Like they broke up and the way he kind of told me was he kind of felt like he didn't really want to date her. It's like one of those situations in high school or like in early university where you kind of date because of like your friend groups and stuff. And so they broke up and then we started hanging out. And then anyways, I ended up dating her ex and she wasn't upset about it, which like impressed me because I feel like if it was the other way around, I would have not taken that quite so gracefully. Let's see here. The second movie is more of a lore story rather than a typical movie. So if I'm not familiar with the story or I'm going to enjoy it or nor understand, I got you, Pokey. My niece is really big into Five Nights at Freddy's. So I typically love lore, as you know, if I'm familiar with the story. I love like the background of all it. And Phil YWG mentioned, yeah, love it. I love my Winnipeg hometown. I'm fully prepared. You know what? We were just watching a movie. I wasn't watching it. I was baking cookies while this was happening. But my hubby put on this movie called Oh Canada with Richard Gere and Uma Thurman. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's really boring. I really was like, went and made a whole batch of cookies while it was going on and got ready for this with you guys. But in it talks about like so Richard Gere basically plays this like filmmaker in Canada who is like on his deathbed and he's like having this whole like memoir story and he's telling these stories but like it's like one of those things where you're like old, you're trying to recall a story and you're like, what's real? What's not real? Like, and I don't know if you guys have seen that movie Big Fish with Ewan McGregor. I think he's in it. And, like people who just like tell tall tales and stuff. I had a girlfriend like that where like she was just she was a really sweet girl, but she was just a known pathological liar. I don't really know why she was a liar, but she just would lie about random things. And like you could literally catch her in a lie to her face and she just would be like, what are you talking about? I'm like, okay. And you just when you know that about certain people, you also have to realize people oftentimes do that because you're hiding trauma, that kind of stuff. So I can be forgiving of things like that, but you have to also know when to protect your own self, right? Like you can't trust people for certain things like that, right? Like when I was April O'Neil, a big attribute of her that I love the most is that your ability to keep secrets, right? All right. Erin, thanks again for saying my nice tattoo. Love it. Love my tattoo. I have a tattoo for every big milestone I've gone through in my life, actually. And Keaton, hello, and thank you for the repost. We are reading, thank you. Oh, Ross, welcome. Welcome, my friend. Oliver, hi. It was good. It was very snowy outside today, so I don't know where my snow boots are. I think they might be in Winnipeg. So I might have to get I'm rewatching Smallville. I love this show. Anthony, you know what? It's so funny you mentioned Smallville because someone was telling me that Zatanna has actually been done live action in Smallville. I stopped watching Smallville, I think season 4 or 5. But Smallville, lots of love for Smallville. Kristen Krug, also, I have the biggest girl crush on her. Maybe I can get her to be in my movie, because you know what? I feel like her and I are like the same age, and she looks amazing right now still, you guys. Also, crazy thing about that chick who, with that cult and stuff. Remember that? Smoochie. Oh, dropping all the love. Thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Appreciate that. So, Ross, to answer your question, we're reading Multiversity today. We're going to actually be reading a fun story in here. So we're going to finish off a certain part of it in Earth 51, where they find like hieroglyphics, and the hieroglyphics are basically like a comic book. And if you really think about it, hieroglyphics and comic books have a lot in common, right? Images, pictures, but also telling like another story on top of it. You're the bomb, Smoochy Boochies. Thank you. Let's see here. Oh yeah, and totally crazy, Anthony, like that chick with the, you know, she did a podcast interview with, oh my gosh, Lex Luthor. He was like my favorite Lex Luthor. What's his name? Michael Rosenbaum, I believe his name. Yeah, so he's got a podcast. And I think he had Allison, I think was her name, on it. I haven't watched it yet. I will watch it, because I'm revamping my whole live show stuff. So I have a podcast show that I'm hopefully going to get on AM radio called Renegade Radio. And I want to do things like have top 5 like synthwave songs or love songs or like bump and grind songs, like songs that have heroes in it, you know, different themes of that, because songs are also another way of telling a story, right? I will also hopefully have things like talk show hosts. You know, I had a conversation with someone who used to be a radio DJ at our little holiday party on Friday, and he was like, I really miss the radio. And I'm like, you know, there's something really special too about, like, I can't tell you the amount of times where I was in Winnipeg and, you know, driving in my car, crying after a breakup, and just like the right song comes on the radio, and you're like, yo, Mr. DJ, how did you know to play that song? Or just things like dedications on the radio, right? Where like, this song goes out to like my best friend, right? That kind of thing. I miss that kind of stuff. And Gwen Stacy, hey baby girl, I hope you're well. You're the bomb. Okay, let's see here. And yes, Smallville was great. You watched it till the end. Do you have a favorite storyline in Smallville, Anthony? I wonder if, because sometimes, oh my gosh, we've got 2 Anthonys in here, and you both love Smallville. And you know, I love the name Anthony. Gwen Stacy, I have to tell you, like, you always impress me when you're like, my original character has this name. I'm like, that's such a good name. Or when I meet people, that's such a great name. And like, half the reason why in my own creative writings I named people after my friends was because I just couldn't think of like names. So name people after goddesses, or you know, certain stories, or like the Power Rangers. Like I had the biggest crush on the Red Ranger, so I'd name, like, I love the name Jason. Also Jason and the Argonauts. It's a good strong name. I don't know, like, also I used to love Sweet Valley High. Remember the twins, like Jessica and Elizabeth Wakefield, and Todd and Elizabeth. I was like, oh, I wanted Todd in my life. So it's just weird how like these names and how we imagine certain characters to be, and what I mean, to quote Juliet from Romeo and Juliet, a name, what's in a name, a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet, because the essence of who you are is truly what matters, right? Because in the end, like, the name that you are given at birth is not, you didn't really have any say in that, like your parents gave that to you. And there is also the concept, I think, of you having your own like spiritual name, your own name that you gift yourself, your own secret name even, that you don't even have to let anyone else know. I also love nicknames for people. That's fun. Oh, and let's see here. I wanted to see him in his tight Superman suit. Oh, you're very sweet, Anthony. You own all the DVDs. I miss DVDs, you guys. And you guys, I've had premonitions of the grid going down. my my little moment to talk about my movie that I'm funding. Tomorrow by midnight, it should be up on Indiegogo, and I'll be adding a trailer to it as well. But it's just about time is actually very fluid, right? So it's interesting how our decisions now and our memories of the past can be so hazy and flighty. And it's just like how when we talk about, this is why I'm going to read you guys Multiversity. I'm going to read you guys actually a little piece of a different universe that still relates to this one. And then we're going to go into The Just, which kind of reads kind of like a teen tabloid. Just to get a perspective of, we rewatched the movie Demolition Man the other day with Sandra Bullock and Sly Stallone. And in that movie, right, everyone's like super happy and you can't swear. There's like a swear jar. Pokey, they literally, like, Sandra Bullock like sweared, and there was like a little like beep beep ticket that showed up, and I was like, wow, that's like, if I had that when I was playing Halo, someone would be very rich, and it wouldn't be me. Let's see here. Kristen Krug, her mother is Chinese. I didn't know. Yes, his podcast is good. Oh my gosh. How fun would it be if we could have, I'm going to reach out to him and be like, hi, can we do a show? I'd love to interview you. Like, as Lex Luthor. Like, could we have like a show where we have the different universes all colliding and everyone talking to each other, like the different Supergirls? Because Smallville also had a Supergirl, right? And I find it interesting with Supergirl, right? Because the earlier comic books with Supergirl, I'm talking like the early days, like when did she first show up? Like the 60s, 70s, like even like early golden era Supergirl comics. She's very sweet, right? But sometimes I find in the more modern takes of Supergirl, she can be kind of like bitchy, like kind of like harsh, like tough. And I can kind of get why, because she is an alien. She has this conversation with Batgirl where Batgirl's like, do you want to go to the hospital? And she's like, I do not want to go to the hospital because I'm an alien and, they'll dissect me, or like they'll realize I'm Kryptonian and I'm not human and bad things will happen. And Batgirl's like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And so it's just, if you think about that and how alienated, right? Pardon the pun, not really. Kara feels. There's actually, I was watching something about how it was like for her going to high school. And Kara, to answer the question before about what my alter ego is, I would say my alter ego is, it's hard to say. Like, it's like when I was telling you guys earlier how I'm not really doing astro content anymore per se, or doing readings anymore, because there's only so many hours in a day and my skills are best used elsewhere. But I will use astro to inform other things. Now, let me see here. I'm going to change this. I want to put on... Anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent. I'm going to start reading you guys our story. So let's get into it very soon. Also, Anthony, I don't know if you guys know this, but Kristen Krug was in a live action version of Chun-Li, which I watched, and it was bad. And I felt bad because both of those characters, both Kristen and Chun-Li, deserved better. That's all. Let's see here. And boop to you too, Gwen Stacy, Radio Waves, yo. OC Zaylee at, see, there's that name, that cutie name. I have a Superman symbol tattoo on my arm. To you, Anthony, what does the symbol mean for you? Because, different movies have said, it's House of El. It is hope. It also, to me, can represent the whole full activation. Like, there's a secret 8 in there, right? And 8 is also the symbol of the sun. So that Ouroboros and full connection of your energy centers. There's some, like, even here, this one looks like a little snake kind of thing. I have Love Monster High as my childhood. Oh my gosh, I feel like you, Gwen Stacy, and my niece are about the same age, and you probably guys would be friends, actually. Um, I enjoyed one episode when Kirk loses another person, gets hit by lightning. Where is that music coming from? It's coming from behind me. Through my little speaker here. I was trying to do some like 80s vibes in it. When we were having so December is an interesting month, you guys. 2026 is going to be, oh, that was my other announcement before I started into the read. So I have something that I'm doing called Superhero School. Now, I originally was going to do it like it's Sunday, right? So Supergirl Sunday, right? So I had Supergirl Sunday School where we're going to talk about all the different things about how you can emulate superhero traits in real life, which is where astrology would infuse with it, right? Because think of it, your astro, like your time of birth, the blueprint of the stars in the sky when you first took your first breath into this existence. That's almost like a character sheet of you entering like this cosmic D&D game, right? As you, right? And the fun part of this is that you get to decide, right? But there are parameters that you have set for yourself prior to entering this world that we have all like you've forgotten about, right? Like it's like, how should I put it? If you're playing D&D and you're choosing to start out as like a sorcerer, but then you're starting to do things that like a fighter class would do, you're going to have a very hard time because your attributes are not matching what you picked initially, right? So there's a certain aspect of like if you're a Taurus or if you're an Aquarius or if you're a Scorpio, that certain ways of doing things are going to have more resonance with you than others, right? And so it's just recognizing that in your own like superhero astrology cosmic stack. And when you know thyself, you can start to practice, right? So if you know that you're more telepathic versus telekinesis, although in my research in comic books, typically people are telepathic before you have kinesis, but anyways, superhero school, that's going to be I'm going to start doing it on Mondays as opposed to Sundays. And it's not going to be just Supergirl. It's going to be 12 modules, and each module is going to be a character. So we're going to have, of course, Supergirl talk about aspects of power and, star children, this concept of that perspective. And then you're going to have Batgirl talk about, technology, human genius, working on a team like the Bat family that's maybe a little bit dysfunctional. You have Jean Grey, the Phoenix, Black Cat to talk a little bit about like what it's like being a rogue. So it's going to be kind of laid out in that kind of perspective where each cosplay or is like a teacher for you. And that's going to begin in 2026, the third Monday, which is typically known as Blue Monday, which I'm going to hopefully counteract with Smoochy Booty. Thank you. Because you guys know like Blue Mondays, and we've reached my live goal, and that deserves. I'm going to play a song and we're going to get into the read right away just because of that. And I got all these messages. Thank you guys. I guess aggressive. Hope and strength. Yes, Anthony, definitely. And I love strength as a word versus like power, right? Even though I do have a cosplay of Power Girl I'm working on. And Power Girl and Supergirl are supposed to be the same, right? Yeah, Supergirl Sunday. Next month will be my 24th birthday on the 15th of that month. Oh my goodness, Gwen Stacy, my little star child. Amazing. We should do something for you. I'll have a song maybe dedicated to you, my friend. You have the power. Oh, love it. Okay, so I'm going to play the song. We're going to hopefully do a Listen to Your Heart Roxette dance remix. If you guys actually can help me find who did this remix, because that's the fun thing about songs. Remember back in the day where songs would have bunches of different remixes, like Mariah Carey had a whole CD of just remixes? Here it is. And it's got all the cute shufflers in it. And then I'm going to add mine to it. But clearly, though, these girls did not originally shuffle to this. and then we'll get into the read. So this, I'm going to do a dance to this, a shuffle dance. And as I said to you guys, my latest movie is about music and dance as a way to invoke the dragons. It's like the dance dragons, the dance dream dragons. And our way of activating our energy centers is by movements, right? Oh, these girls are so cute though too. Right. Our little shuffler girls, you know. So my shuffle instructor, she actually lives in Costa Rica, and I'm doing some partnerships in Costa Rica coming up too. So, Pokey, we will have to have our call. I'm in Winnipeg on Friday. My granny's birthday is on Saturday, so I was just listening to a dragon meditation. That's so funny, Anthony, because I also look at the S as representing kind of like that dragon energy, that harnessing your inner, more subconscious power, right? Yeah. There it is. Oh my gosh. Some of these moves too, I'm going to take some of them. Oh, and the hair and stuff, yeah. When he's calling for you, there's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why. Before. Okay, so that, oh my gosh, so fun. So that'll be tomorrow. I'm going to do that. I was born on my dad's birthday. Well, there are no coincidences, only synchronicities, right? So that's something interesting, Gwen Stacy. January 15th. So I love that Capricorn energy. I think I have a little bit of a bias though, because I'm a Taurus, and so the earth sign, so earth energy, that's stable, like Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus energies of that. I also think too, there's a level of extra special connection to the earth plane. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. So, without further ado, let's get into the read for tonight, Supergirl Sunday night, my friends. We are going to be reading Multiversity. Dun, dun, dun. This is by Grant Morrison. Pokey no, well, actually, I took this book from my sister. So hopefully also my sister and I will, I've been trying, she's my Wonder Woman. She also does a female Punisher like Frank Castle. That's pretty sweet. It's kind of funny because Frank Castle Punisher is Marvel, and she claims that she doesn't like any Marvel, but she also likes Thor. So she's a little bit of a contrarian, but I love her. You know, she's an Aries, but she also has a lot of Capricorn energy. So, you know, I also feel like signs that have the horns energy. So Taurus, Aries, and Cappy, you know, there's a little bit of that stubborn streak in there. And this need to be always right, which is fine. It's okay. We can butt heads. I'm cool with it. So Multiversity, written by Grant Morrison. I always thought this was written in the 90s, but this was like 2000 and, oh my gosh, 2015. So it's kind of funny, like the new 52 lines up with this. So just before I begin, there's a map in this guidebook, which is very meta, super meta, because we basically have the different Earths, right? Earth Prime, right? Earth 1, Earth 2, 3, 5, which has the Marvel family here, right? Shazam family. Copyright. We've got Earth 6, Earth 7, etc. So, where was I going with this? Oh, yeah, we have the hot planet too here with Earth 11. On Earth 11, the Amazons of Themyscira imposed their law on the whole world and changed it forever. So it not to be confused with the DC bombshells. universe as well. So this, I think, is the basis of the new 52. I think, does it go up to 52 worlds? I'm pretty sure. Yes. Yeah. We're 52. The 52nd world, I believe, is like the world that is basically being created with the newest comic books, right? Being like the new 52, which is why in many of the comics, like, it's like one of those things where like you have like a mind wipe and a reincarnation. You wake up and you're like, oh wait, um, I don't like, I've heard about you, Batman. I didn't know you were real. And this is coming from Green Lantern, right? So it's just different ways of how these worlds interact with each other with similar archetypes and characters impacting each other, being similar but not quite the same. Like, look at this one. You have Earth 43, a world of darkness and fear where vampires rule the night as the Blood League. And of course you have like Batman as like an actual like vampire bat. So, all right, guys. So let's go into the read to begin because I love it because the hieroglyphics end up being a way of pushing the plot point forward. So let's just jump right into it, okay? So welcome to the Sunday night read with Supergirl, Kara Zor-El. We're reading Multiversity tonight. And I welcome you guys to come back tomorrow. Zatanna will be back tomorrow. I ended up finding Alan Moore's bumper book of magic. And so we're going to revisit Identity Crisis, where Zatanna plays a big role in like some more moral issues of magic, and we're gonna talk about magic in the DC universe, the rules of magic and where sources of magic come from, because this also deals with like Shazam, right, as well, and the lore behind the Rock of Eternity, the coalition of magic and rather magicians and mages and things like that. Oh, Batman! Hey. Oh my gosh, I heard that Netflix now owns DC via Warner Brothers, right? You know what, you guys, I have to tomorrow. I'm picking up Alan Moore's bumper book of magic, which I put on a hold at the library, and it's ready for me now. So I'm gonna get it, but while I'm there, I'm gonna grab Doomsday Clock again, because Doomsday Clock literally has in it a prophecy of like this time. So 2025, like this year, is supposed to be Final Crisis. Now, 2026 is supposed to be, like after Blackest Night comes Brightest Day. It's supposed to be like after the Final Crisis. We now move into Superman reappears, is reborn with all of his friends and allies as well, right? What does that mean in like real life, in like Earth 33, in like the world that builds all the other worlds? In my opinion, the idea of Netflix buying Warner Brothers is, you know how like things need to get so bad, like in Dune, you had the emperor tyrant guy, like Leto the second, basically becomes this big sandworm, and like it's Leto's piece, and it's basically because you need to push humanity so far in a certain direction where finally you stand up and say it's enough. Oh no, the live streams. Yeah, I think I've been having some connectivity issues where I am, these guys. So hopefully it comes back. I may reconnect, deconnect. Let me know if it continues, because I may just reconnect the stream. I try to see if I can pull myself closer to the modem. Hopefully too, I will resolve a lot of my connectivity issues. Pokey knows that my gaming live stream struggles sometimes. She's going to have a daughter in March, Mama. Is the daddy Constantine? You know what? I have a really funny story about, so quick note here. One of my favorite, so I'm going to be reading Grant Morrison in just like 2 shakes, but Grant Morrison and Alan Moore, they're both known as very like magical authors. I think each of them considers themselves magicians. Thanks, Anthony. But let me know, because sometimes where I am in my place sometimes struggles with the connectivity. Also, I have found that when I talk about certain topics. It's like the tech knows and is like, no, don't talk about that. Literally, when I was reading Promethea by Alan Moore at 3:33 a.m., my live was restricted because we were talking about like really crazy topics. So, this is, yeah, Multiversity. Yes, yes. So Grant Morrison, I do love his writing. I also have another Green Lantern comic book. One second. From the library, which is from Grant Morrison as well. Um, I was watching a YouTube video the other day where it was like, why I don't like Grant Morrison's Green Lantern. I'm like, okay, that's fair. I can see why, because we love TikTok Shop. Love you guys. Thanks, Tucci Boochies. And Anthony, thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, I love it. Love it. Oh, you guys. You guys are very sweet. Thanks, Sentinel. Uh, Same. I hated the new Green Lantern actor. Do you mean Guy Gardner? Um, or do you just not like the bowl cut, Pokey? Because that bowl cut's just not. But like Guy Gardner is supposed to be like that. And Ryan Reynolds can't play anything other than Van Wilder to me. So I don't think that was the right casting choice for Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan's more of like a Maverick. We have him like an Iceman from like, yeah, he'd be like Val Kilmer Iceman from back in the 90s. So rest in power, Val Kilmer, as well. Okay, so before I get started into Multiversity, Grant Morrison is known as like a wizard. Alan Moore, also a comic book writer.
Bluetooth is disconnected.
Thank you, Bluetooth. Alan Moore is also a DC comic book writer. Where was I going with this? Oh, they're known as not liking each other. Like, I think Alan Moore accused like Grant Morrison of like copying his ideas, but I have an opinion though that how should I put this? Like, I don't think we can't own our creations, right? Like, the same creator team that made Superman, right? Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel, that team is not the same team that created Supergirl and Crypto, right? But once these characters are created, it's like you set them out into the world, right? So others can take those characters and they create stories with them as well, right? So it's like an interesting thing when it comes to creation. Like we all kind of like need each other. It's in relation to each other. We're not creating in a vacuum. And so when we create certain characters that are almost like echoes of each other, right? For example, Supergirl has multiple aliases, right? Like she goes by Linda Lee, she goes by Kara Danvers. There's like another name that she sometimes has. But like Kara Danvers and Carol Danvers, who's Captain Marvel in Marvel, that sounds kind of similar, doesn't it? And Carol Danvers is also half Kree, half alien. So that archetype, or rather that character type, superhero type, that exists almost like a overpowered girl who is not from this place, who comes in and learns how to be a hero, right? SG, yeah, yes, I do know my shit. I love, you guys, you have no idea how nerdy I really am. But you know what? I've also learned, you guys, to be okay when other people love those characters in a different way, or love different versions, or love different stories, right? Because, you know, some people, like in here, the main Superman is a black Superman, right? He comes from, I forget what Earth he's from. And there's a conversation that takes place between him and like the Thunder God from a different world. And the guy's like, oh, you're Superman. He's like, oh, so you're a black fella. And he's like, yeah. And then the bunny rabbit's like, I don't even notice the difference. I just look at the superhero colors. So it's just kind of an interesting thing when it comes to like these different aspects as to like what makes Superman Superman and what makes Supergirl Supergirl. What is enough to make that character passable, to be worthy of holding that mantle, right? So when we say that we like certain actors or certain casting choices, I feel like it's because in our personal lens, our personal perspective, we have our own view. Like it's like when I read a book and in your head you're like visualizing how they're going to look like, right? And then you see the movie, you're like, oh, that's not how I visualized it. Sometimes it's even better, right? Sometimes like, and it now feeds back into your imagination in a positive kind of way. But other times it kind of like it's abrasive, and it causes like like, I mean, I guess that's why we have like the multiverse, where okay, that's just this universe, and I can choose whether or not I want to include that version into my canon source version, right? So each of us has that ability to do that, even with characters that are copyright. So going back to the question about how I feel about Netflix purchasing the WB and as a result, DC, I feel like that it's like a testament, it's like a beacon cry into the darkness of creativity. So everything is becoming conglomerate. We have been warned about this since the 80s, right? Capitalism, like John Carpenter, like there's like a lot of sci-fi that warned us about this time, right? So it's just a call to action to me for the true artists to step up to the plate. Uh, And for example, the word superhero, I was talking to you guys about Superhero School, which I'm launching next year officially. Um, Superhero used to be a copyrighted term, right? But then I think a court ruled that you can't copyright a genre. So it's like this, until we start to really take back what it means to be creative and start to, um, I guess, remix and how should I put it? Because if we do things like fan fiction or what I'm doing right now and sharing stories, that um, that can't be under copyright. Also, is the concept of fair use. Like being a dancer, I've always had to struggle with the fact of like music and using copyright in that way. So when things get too big and the pressure gets too much, and you start to choke creativity in too much of a way, there's always that pendulum swing the other way and push back. Um, I'm not sure about that, Pokey. I can send you an article that I just looked into right now that superhero. I think that's why they were able to get away with like certain, like that video game Dispatch, and there's other things going on that like you can use the word super. And I forget, like Marvel did own it. Marvel also owns Marvel, right? Which is why Shazam is Shazam, and even in the movie, he's like never called what he's supposed to be called, Captain Marvel. But what a thing, right? Because technically speaking, the character Captain Marvel existed before Marvel comic books did. So, anyways, the absolute comics, yes, true that. I saw how Zatanna is in that too. Actually, I saw a little clip of like how I do like Absolute Wonder Woman though. She's pretty badass in it. There's like a scene where Steve Rogers gets captured by the Amazons. And he's like, I'm looking for Lois Lane. She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And Wonder Woman's like, well, until now. So like that kind of that sass, I love that in Diana. Which is why I don't feel like I hold that very well. Like I'm friends with a lot of tall, beautiful Amazonian girls. So when I was growing up, I'm 5'2", right? So when you guys meet me in person, I'm really little. Like people always tell me like, "Oh my gosh, you're so small." I'm like, "I know, I'm like a big personality." I'm really like vivacious, but I'm little. So, but my best friends growing up were all like 5'8", 5'9". And it's funny when you spend enough time with like taller people or like whoever you're around, you just get normalized to it. So I always thought that I was like way taller than I was. So I never trust HBO Max anymore since they took off some of my cartoons. Network's child did, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm little. I'm a little one. It's it's funny too because like yeah, whenever I meet people in person and they hug me and stuff, they're like, "Wow, like you're so small." So anyways, but I'm muscular and stuff. So it's like it's a different thing. But I think it's just a matter of like my proportions too. If I don't have anyone beside me for a frame of reference, then I just look like I'm tall. So I'll take that. Okay, it's why Tom Cruise looks taller than he is, and he's only 5'5", that kind of thing. Yes, smoochy boochies. Also, you know, beware of little ones, the little ones, and like never underestimate them. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like that scene where Angel's evil. Oh, Dandy Money Man, hey birthday twin, how's it going? From here you look 5'8". Thanks, City of Montreal. Or how would I say that? City of Montreal. I was just watching a thing about, I used to work with a really amazing female developer, software engineer in Montreal, named Dee. She was the best. I still remember her. But she was also telling me how I haven't actually visited Montreal since I was quite young. I'm due for a visit, I think, because there's some beautiful architecture there that I think would be kind of nice to photograph and stuff and maybe film. Okay, you guys, without further ado, let's get into the read. We're going to go into Multiversity. I'm going to read you a little bit of Earth 51 just because it deals with like this dystopic future city of I'm not real. Get it? I get it. I love that. I love wordplay and punny jokes, that kind of stuff. I mean, it makes me happy. Okay, so we are going to go into Earth 51, which deals with like a dystopic future where there's only one human left, and he's a little boy named Kamandi. Bluetooth connected. Oh, thank you, Dark Rider. Appreciate that. This is my 80s Supergirl suit, which is like my way of being a little bit of a lazy cosplayer. But hey, we do have Mary Marvel coming up with another cosplay of Supergirl I've been working on for a little while, which is her with the white t-shirt and Linda Lee. So there's a whole series. Yeah, bit too hot. Yeah, Okay. All right, let's keep going, guys. So as Biomac, wait, hold on. Let me go here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I like the way that this is illustrated. Let me just start from the beginning. Okay, so we're in Earth 51. And so as I mentioned to you guys, only one human boy left named Kamandi. And the rest of the people on the planet are like humanoid, not aliens, humanoid animals, rather, and like machine robot people. So with that background, let's get into it. Kamandi, we made it. Yay. The island of the God Watchers. And so you can see it kind of looks like Mayan temples. So we're at the island of the God Watchers. And Kamandi says, wow. And then we must know. We have to find out. If Flower's kidnappers brought her here, we're on the right track. This place has an evil reputation. Hey, Frankie Guyton. Nice to see you. Happy Sunday. Well, we're 10 minutes away from the next day, so hope you guys will have a great week and hope that this read gives you all the dreams that you need to have superpowered dreams and help, push the whole vibration of the human consciousness in a good direction, right? Why not? A more magical direction, a more fun and empowered direction, that kind of thing. All right, so I'm just going to drop you guys in just like it's a dream, and we'll explain it as we go. This place has an evil reputation, Kamandi. That's all I'm saying. Are these the God Watchers? Be careful, Tufton. These skulls were left as a warning. Rrrr, it smells unwholesome. And look there, a tomb of some kind, a broken sculpture. See how the footprints are emerging from the grave. And then you can see here. So this Ben Boxer guy is actually not, he's not a real man. I think he's like an android of some sort. And then the tiger says here, I don't really like the looks of this grave. I don't like the looks of any of this kind of thing. So maybe we should turn back. So the tiger then says, maybe the gods are the watchers. Now, behold, they've come upon the empty tomb of Darkseid, unlord of Apocalypse. The door has been broken open, Ben. From the inside, somebody left in a hurry. Kamandi, I found something. She was here. All that we have come to fear, all that we have feared have come to pass. Oh no. Now we're going to look up here. The God Watchers are watching from their little like castle up here up high. While we rested after our celestial labors here in Supertown, how original, Supertown. Supertown atop the screaming mountains, Darkseid took advantage of our divine slumber. And you can see here all the different gods up here, the new gods, right? I think some of you guys are familiar. You can see them a lot. They're like in the Green Lantern universe a lot. He touches many worlds now. He wears many faces, and all of them are grim. These other worlds, High Father, how do we get inside to investigate? Each hosting multiple emancipations of Darkseid, Lightray, and of us. Barda's right. Oh, Big Barda. I love Big Barda, right? Like, anyways, I'm not going to go down on a tangent with Big Barda just yet. Barda's right. He's rebuilding his godhead from shattered fragments. One question remains unanswered. What dread hand unlocked his tomb? So now you can see they're at Darkseid's tomb, Kamandi and the bio robot guy and the tiger guy. And while they're looking at Apocalypse's tomb up here, the gods are looking over, right? Kind of like a wishing well from their like super town place. And so they can see down here, they're having a conversation. I'm with Tufton. This whole thing stinks. So give me a moment to link my Cyclo heart with Breer Eye, and I'll handle this. Brother Eye in the sky. Contact accomplished. Omni activate. I don't know, he's using something in the sky to like deal with how creepy it looks. Oh, look, he's changing. He turned into the chrome guy. Kind of looks like Colossus. Yeah. As Biomac. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a tiny suit. Oh my gosh, guys, Stacey, I hope maybe you're like prophesizing something coming up. I didn't even tell my story about Constantine and Swamp Thing and how they like switched bodies. Not switched bodies, but Swamp Thing inhabited Constantine's body so that he could have a baby with, oh my gosh, Abby Arcane. You know, okay. So changes into his chrome robot self because, as I told you, Kamandi's the only human on the planet, right? So, that's dealt with. Whoever came here before us ran and dropped their weapons. My guess is the same Gangrat slavers who took flour. These carvings are from the old times, before the great disaster. Can you read the signs, Kamandi? Something about them is familiar. I think I can, Tufton. It looks like a story. Like in the comic books, you showed me Kamandi. And then he says, see what I said? Like the hieroglyphs look like comic books. Dun, 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 dun. I think you're right. It's a picture history, Tufton. It tells of past times and beginnings. Be careful, Kamandi. Stories can be dangerous. Once, it seems to say, once, nothing, and everything at the same time. And then an imperceptible flaw is discovered in a Heathrow immaculate conception or perfection. Oh, yeah. Constantine is oh, yes. Constantine and Zatanna having a baby. That baby is like super powered magic baby. Like you're doing magic right out of the womb, babe. Okay. An imperceptible flaw is discovered in Heathrow immaculate perfection. A flaw that is everything. Perfection is not. Defining its relationship to the flaw. Perfection names itself. Monitor mind, the overlord. Of the overvoid is monitor, born, and anti-monitor, which is the opposite, the conflict generator, the story machine. Monitor mind, in shock from the schism, acts to contain the flaw, to bottle the flaw and prevent its spread. This is kind of what happened in Crisis, right? This concept of like the spread of the anti-monitor eating the world and stuff. For study, monitor mind brings forth science monitor Dax Novu, who selflessly enters the flaw and is contaminated, is also split into two. Ooh. What had been the universe becomes the multiverse. Divided, deranged, Novu catalogs and numbers each variation on a basic theme, each alternative twist. But Novu looks too close, too deep, infected by activity, by process, by the endless play of matter and narrative. Novu is blinded, corrupted by the flaw's lightning dazzle. And so begins all things with a flash. Like the flashpoint, right? We the North, hey, how's it going? Oh, it's midnight. Like we should do like ding dong, right? Seems feasible, yeah. Seems, I'll take that explanation as to how the universe was created, right, Smoochy Booches? You mentioned old comic books. Now, why would these be here? Is this coincidence, Kamandi? So in the old tomb, right, they find, of course, hieroglyphs, but then they find also old comic books, right? And in these old comic books is a story with Barry Allen, a young police forensic scientist. Let me go this way there. Yeah. A young police forensic scientist endowed with super speed powers after a freak lab accident in Central City. Now possessed of the ability to accelerate to velocities approaching c, light, the Flash, who took his name from a comic book hero of his youth. soon sensed evidence of unearthly cosmic harmonies. Determined to uncover proof of parallel worlds, Barry Allen practiced adjusting his frequency. I love Barry Allen. I love him so much. He's my fave Flash. Both he and Supergirl make that ultimate sacrifice in Crisis, right? Wally, I love too as well. Like, I love all the Flashes, the speedsters, because there's this element of their stories deal with when time is nothing. I love the way it was described, how like when you have powers like the Flash, you need to fight like a science fiction writer writes. Something like that. Something like that. You need to be, it's more about thinking your way about it because you can do everything really, really fast. So, kind of thing. Grant, yes, totally We the North. Love it. You know it. I think I read that with you guys once. It's when he goes, the human race is in that compilation. Also, that one where, is it the Death Flash? Where he like outruns death? I forget, but it's a good one. Yeah, but it's nice here, like adjusting. You have the box set with the North. I love it. Oh, so good. Flash is definitely, I need to get hubby a cosplay of Flash because I feel like they kind of didn't do the movie. The movie didn't do justice to what Flashpoint was and how important the Flash is to the whole concept of the multiverse in general. So, yeah, this is like, I believe, like, there's a tell in here, right? This concept of within the comic books are clues to reality, right? So, this idea of to get to other parallel worlds, you would just adjust the resonance and frequency that you're vibing at to vibe to another frequency, right? So yeah, very cool. Okay. Ooh, I got like full body tingles. This is fun. Okay. Determined to uncover proof of parallel worlds, Barry Allen practiced adjusting his frequency. Syncopating at super speed, he succeeded in lowering his vibrational frequency by several octaves. And in a world that was only a bass tone, he met Jay Garrick, the Flash of an alternate reality where Barry's childhood comic book heroes were real people. And if Jay Garrick was a fictional character in Barry's world, was Barry Allen a fiction in some higher yet undiscovered world? I think so. And so it began. Let me show you guys that panel right there. Yeah, right? And so it began. Hands were extended across a newly discovered multiverse. Previously unimaginable adventures ensued. Yes. So we have our multiverse, like our multiple Flashies, right? Inspired, the Flash invented the cosmic treadmill, a running machine destined to fine-tune his substance. Wait, his substance? Yes. His substance to previously undiscovered and unsuspected wavelengths. A multitude of coexistent worlds were revealed. A whole spectrum of variations of the theme. Oh, Step Chicken, this is Multiversity. So I'm reading a story from World 51. So to get you up to speed to this point, Kamandi, the last boy on Earth in this world, has discovered Darkseid's grave, his tomb, and there are hieroglyphics there, as well as some old comic books, which are offering some clues as to what happened in the before times and that kind of thing, right? So we have here, as you can see, even how it's drawn, even though this book is from 2015, but they've made like the style of this part of the story look older, right? You know, to get into that concept of like ancient comic books, whatever that means, right? In the future, far future, they're going to look back at these comic books as like texts, ancient documentation, right? Let's see here. Oh, hi, Miss Bliss. How are you? I hope you're well. I'm Kara, last daughter of Krypton, and I hope all my superhero friends out there, I hope you're all doing well and staying strong. Oh, thank you. It's funny, I had two original named River, different world. Oh, I love River. River is also in lore, like Eastern mythology. Rivers are supposed to be dragons, right? The freshwater bodies are typically dragons, right? Also, here in Lake Ontario, because I'm in Toronto, right? Lake Ontario, apparently there was like this meteor that crashed, and there's a meteor dragon there. I can't pronounce her name, but Jacques Cartier apparently saw this dragon too. So, just saying. My river from is your river a she or a he or a she? Because Joaquin Phoenix's older brother, I think, was named River, right? River Phoenix, and he came to an end. Like, we can talk about that in a future episode. She, yes, I love that. One of my fictional characters' name is Mary Ray River because I like the name, and I also have a dance to that song River, like a river, like a river. I can bring it back. Okay, I'm gonna start from this panel here, and we'll continue onwards. Lakeshore Bridge getting old. Oh yeah, I feel like much infrastructure, even here in Toronto, needs like the Gardner Bridge here. Like you can like look up and be like, oh my gosh, like are you just one day gonna just fall apart and crumble? Kind of thing. I think all of us like, why did we do architecture so much better like 100 years ago? What the heck? Okay. Maybe it has something to do with this, the whole multiverse thing. Okay. Inspired, the Flash invented the cosmic treadmill, which I'm sure you guys are familiar in some other stories featuring the Flash. A running machine designed to fine-tune his substance to previously unsuspected wavelengths. A multitude of coexistent worlds were revealed. A whole spectrum of variations on the theme. A multiverse. Then came the first crisis on infinite Earths. Women weren't so distracting back then. I'll tell you though, growing up, I was so boy crazy. I probably still am. But I went to an all-girls high school in Winnipeg called St. Mary's Academy. And maybe like, thank goodness for that. I guess, going to an all, because I wasn't distracted by like cute boys and like drama when it came to that kind of stuff too. But it was always like a big deal when like a boy visited the high school. Like all the girls like roll their skirts up and be like, oh my gosh, there's a boy here. Just funny. New LRT open now. So we the North, I'm gonna be in Winnipeg on Friday. My granny's birthday's on Sunday. And I'm gonna be interviewing her for my show, Renegade Radio, next week. And I'm going to be putting up I'm going to be setting up some of my studio there in Winnipeg as well. So stay tuned for that next week. So this week it'll be a little bit all over the place when it comes to the comic book reads in my lives. I'm just going to try to do as much as possible, as well as like what comes through divination wise. I don't know how to tell you why I read or put on the characters that I do when the time comes, but it's always been so interesting how like it's like the right story will hit the right time. Because I've read Multiversity to you guys before, but I've read different parts of it, right? The beginning parts, the parts where like there's a team up Harbingers in it, right? Who is also featured in Crisis. She's originally Lila, right? She gets the Monitor's powers. So there's some fun connectivity there though, right? But each story in an anthology stands on its own. Satana's coming back tomorrow. I have the Bumper Book of Magic by Alan Moore I'm going to hopefully show you guys. In addition to, we're going to look at Identity Crisis and the morality there of what the Justice League does to Batman, because Zatanna has the power to do it. And, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, right? And so if you have that kind of power to literally alter someone's personality, should you do that even if that guy's a villain and like he's a danger? Like there are no right answers, right? And when you have a team of soups together, it's a great way to kind of even show how your inner workings or different aspects of yourself may fight amongst each other when it comes to approaching a problem or a challenge, right? Like I've had many, like for example, I'm naturally very shy, right? So dance, performing, reading, all this stuff has helped me get better at that kind of stuff. But um like in dance class, for example, if you ever go to dance class in like the bigger cities, um they'll typically do this thing at the end of class where the teacher will call up people to do like a solo or small groups. And in myself, I would always struggle, right? I'd want to be chosen. So part of me would be like so disappointed if I wasn't chosen, but when I was chosen, half the time I would just be like I don't want to go. And I wouldn't take that opportunity to like do it because I was like too terrified of messing up in front of everybody, because choreography is really difficult for me to pick up really quickly. I can do really well when I practice it and freestyle it, but I've learned to just be better at choreography. But as I've done more classes, I like worked on, like, even though I was like terrified, if like my teacher told me like, Rachel, you can do a solo, and I'm like, yes, I can freaking do a solo. And even if I mess up, it's been really nice to like be around a community of people who, we're all just in practice. We're all just works in progress. And writing, painting, music, anything you're making, it's never fully done. You could be working on it forever, but oftentimes it's good enough to a point that you can share it. And there can be some forgiveness in other creators when we know that too, right? So yeah. Steve's like, oh, thanks for that. Like, I mean, like, it's just something for me as well, because I used to be so resentful of other girls who were so good at it. Like, I'd be so jealous and envious of it. And I was like, why? Because I didn't like it when girls would be envious and jealous of me for just being me. So why am I doing that to other people? And so like when I got over myself, it's so wonderful how many different friendships I got as a result of that. So I look forward to 2026 too, in terms of bringing back my matchmaking skills, because I have been responsible for quite a few marriages, even though haven't been in Winnipeg for a while, but um, I have a knack for matching people, right? I don't know what it is. So, and I love love. I'm a big romantic. Love conquers all, that kind of thing. Okay, and I don't mean like it doesn't need to be always what you think it is. It can be a relationship that hasn't been in a way that has been done before, right? But you get to make that, right? Yes, exactly, Anthony Starks. Let's go 20. I'm ready for it. I'm so ready for it. But it's going to get crazy before it gets the momentum and being good, right? Like that crazy chaotic time where, after you finish a story and you begin another story, that kind of thing. Okay, let's keep going. So we have a whole spectrum of variations on the theme, a multiverse. Then came the first crisis on infinite Earths, where worlds that once had been collapsed were fused together, where lives were erased, rewritten, and whole realities converged in epic congress. Oh, yes. For Sir Francis, I guess I'm kind of on late. I actually meant to be on a bit earlier than this, but I do some comic book reads that are at like this midnight hour, like the bedtime late night comic book read just before you go into a dreamland situation, right? And yes, to Smoochie Boochie's, it's always darkest before the dawn situation, right? Just gotta Keep going. Okay. So where worlds that had once been collapsed were fused together, where lives were erased, rewritten, and whole realities converged in epic congress. What had been a multiverse was a universe once more. Unstable, uncertain, post-traumatic. Hey, Penguin, thank you for that. And all the while, forces beyond imagination were at work. Next, time itself came under threat from Parallax, the fear thing possessing the indomitable will of Green Lantern Hal Jordan. And so it was until reality changed again. And changed again. What once had been rendered unremembered, re-forgotten. Once more, a multiverse erupted from the unstable, fragile universe. New shoots, fresh fractal branches, worm their way through hypertime, and 52 new universes were born. Thanks for that, Penguin. Appreciate it. Aw. Oh, you're sweet, Gwen Stacy. No, I'm actually only gonna go for a little bit. I was gonna read the Just as well, but we'll see. We'll see. Appreciate you, Gwen. Where are we? Oh, yes. And that's the thing about the panels like this. I'm like, am I supposed to go down? Am I supposed to go this way? So I'm going this way, hopefully. New shoots, fresh fractal branches worm their way through hypertime, and 52 new universes were born. An ordered orrery of worlds, which were erased and renewed as continuities rose and fell through waves and troughs. No one knew. No one remembered. Only the monitors kept a record of it, all written into the fictions of Earth 33. Oh yes, Reed Richards, you know 0 Hour. I need to get 0 Hour and Infinite Crisis, as well as the monitor. So the timeline of all the different crises, right? And that's what I told you guys about the prophecy and doomsday clock, how they say like in 2026, after Final Crisis, there's going to be a rebirth of Superman. And if we think of that as more of an archetype thing, an energy thing, this idea of like being empowered, having full connection, being the Superman, right? Supergirl, Superwoman, right? In all of us, it's kind of like that little message, the hero within you. Okay. When the almighty monitors died, so at the time of this, in the beginning of this story, we have the super judge. He is like the son of one of the last monitors, right? So it's like as the multiverse has been like reshaped, reborn, remodeled, rejigged constantly, you end up having different guardians and different ways that this is, I guess, organized and how the stories work, right? I thought it was legit attorney, but was Krona's hand. Ah, yes. I know. Okay, where are we? When the almighty monitors died, it went unnoticed. Their passing left Nix Utoan, the sole son of Novu, as protector of the multiverse. Utoan, the super judge. And the Flash, always there at the electric heart of every momentous transformation. And always behind it all, something vast and patient and terrible. The great hand casts the lightning and remakes the world. Something's wrong here. Flowers gone, Commandee. The Kangarat pirates performed some barbaric rite here. Then they ran from whatever they summoned. So now you can see here, see the little, like, the cute little ones? The cute little Batmans? These are maps of the multiverse. They'll all save us, Bruce. Maps? This is reality from the outside. And so you can see in the comic book itself, they're looking at this map of the multiverse. And you can see all the different little bubbles here, right? All representing all the different worlds. And then the Hall of Heroes, or the House of Heroes, is right in the center. And you can see all the different ways that you have, like, the monitor sphere out here, and then, like, the source wall around everything else, right? I'm not going to go through everything specifically, but we'll jump to this part. Because I think these guys were watching that Earth story. Anyways, what do I care about? What? Do I care about this, Tiny? How am I here? I was in the Dark Tower. These cubes are travel devices, Batman. Gateways to parallel Earths. We have maps and all these worlds to choose from. These stories, each one is part of a chain, a relay. We all have stories of heroes and villains and monsters. So they're part of a universe that's little, like the little guys. They have their own world, right? Where are they? I forget what Earth they are. But just like, remember, in the 52 universes, there's one universe where they're all like Rugrats. The Rugrats ones. Hi, Voice of One. How's it going? From the Imp dimension. Yeah, the little ones. And so here, he's holding up a comic book of, like, himself, right? Little Gotham. The latest issue of Little Gotham tried to warn us of an approaching, like, what would Little Batman's voice sound like? Because it wouldn't be like Batman voice. It'd be like Little Batman voice. Let me think on that. The latest issue of Little Gotham tried to warn us of an approaching cosmic invader. We thought it was just a comic book story, but it was actually a warning. This helps me or you. How? Says Batman. Explain. Where's Nova America from here? And the little Batman's like, I don't know, but these cubes are what's causing the trouble. They're wormholes in the multiverse. I don't know how it works. There, I sealed it. Whatever it is, it drained the whole station of power when Savannah used it. We have to wait for it to recharge. But we don't have time. They're knocking at the door. Tap my suit's atomic battery. Here's your Kraken power. Now we just have to whistle up a world. How did Savannah know what to do? And Savannah's from Shazam's universe, right? He's like mad scientist guy, right? He was supposed to get the power of Shazam, the wizard, but he wasn't worthy and he fell for envy and all that kind of stuff. So they're trying to reopen the world because they got stuck using, I think, a wormhole to end up in this world. So little Batman's like, all right, give me half a minute to figure this out. You got no minutes, Mini-Man. These are files on the 52 known worlds of something called the local multiverse. Data compiled by some kind of super race. Okay. In comic book form. Interesting. So, and this is all the worlds, right, that have been found there. Earth 1, and then like different variations. So we've got like even here Earth 5 is with Shazam and the Marvel family, right? And let me see if I can find the one that's got the baby. Oh, we've got the Batman Beyond universe too here. This one. Earth 12. Oh, yes, and this is the one I was going to read you guys about, the Just, Earth 16. Earth 17 is where this Batman was coming from. The one was like all this cyborg guy. You've got Earth 21. Here, a never assassinated President John F. Kennedy stands forever poised to lead a newly superhuman turned on nation to the stars. So just all different versions, right, of the heroes we know and love through the multiverse, right? So I'm trying to find, and this is Earth 33. So this is supposed to be the mysterious Earth that the other stories come from, right? So it's like Earth 33, also known as Earth Prime, this mysterious world without superheroes exerts a powerful and unknown influence on the progress and development of the entire multiverse. Earth Prime's only known superhuman inhabitant is known as Ultra Comics. That's him here. So there's a story about him, which I'm not going to read you guys today, which is pretty graphic and intense, that deals with Ultra Comics. But it also has some tells in there about like what it means to have superheroes in your world. So we jump back to Kamandi. Our world is only one of many. Somewhere right now on an island like this one, people like us are, oh no, the ground, it's shaking. Rear eye warns of seismic overload. We shouldn't have come here. But we had to see, we had to know. The flower, what happened to the flower? It's all I had of her. Take these weapons and leave. These are mysteries for another day. Let's get out of here. All the walls of the worlds are shaking now. Dark side is but one theme in a symphony. His tomb was breached by the son of the Monitor Novu, a young super god corrupted and broken by demons. And beyond them all, the dread and empty hand, whose name none dare voice. There's nothing we can do, not yet, if that one has awakened. Until our powers return in full, we can only watch and guide. I believe our bright youth will triumph, High Father, our last eternal boy. I believe the light will inevitably overwhelm the dark. I know our best, our bravest will prevail against the sons of midnight. And you can see here, I found you. I, Nyx Utoan of the Gentry, unleash dark side to plague creation. In the name of the Gentry whom we serve, in the name of the empty hand. You're from Earth 17, and this must be Earth 42. But what terrible secret are we hiding? It's all vibrations. Each world has its own note. Maybe like a whistle or a kraken whistle, maybe. You quit thinking straight? Even if it worked, we could end up anywhere, anyhow, all over. This flower wasn't here a second ago. So that's where the flower went, Gwen, right? And Wolfie might make an appearance to say goodnight, which we're going to do very soon. This flower wasn't here a second ago. My bat sonar can generate super UHF signals. Maybe, just maybe, I hear voices. Those are my friends beyond that door. That's our way out. Joker, damn it. Go. What? How's that Joker, damn it? What does he mean by that? That just looks like robots. Anyways. John, You can't fight him like I can. Tell my friends the Grail ain't here and Luthex is in league with Darkseid. Tell him I'll find my own way home. So it works by sound? Sonic Disruptor on. And then he's like, so the hypercube, which opens like wormholes between the worlds, is open. And look who pops out. Where's Batman? Have you any token of his survival? Talk fast or die where you stand. And the little guy's like, I think I'm a machine. I don't understand. I don't know what I am. Where am I? In his hand, the rose that grows in the winter. Greetings from Nova America. What made the sky turn red? You know? Cubes unlocked by sound, each sound a different world, a different crack. Who the crack am I talking at? Where did the Kraken X did I wind up? You're in the very worst place in the whole wide multiverse, soldier. And so I hope you came with an advantage, because we need every advantage we can get. Somebody fill him in. We've got incoming. Whoever you are, the multiverse is facing a full-scale attack. The vanguard we sent to Earth 7 has failed to return. Can I make the emergency any more clear? We all got drawn here, just like you. Welcome to the frontline defense, friend. And that's where I'm going to end it for now. So this is from Multiversity. I wanted to read you guys like just in the thick of it, kind of like a dream situation where it gets into the lore of it, right? So in the beginning, you had one of the last monitors. He basically got corrupted because he was trying to save one of the other superheroes from the other worlds. But you have this whole team of like, they're awful. Like the Gentry, it's big eye, the empty hand. They're like interdimensional invaders. So you basically have a team of people that Harbinger has brought together, including Superman from a different world. You've got like it's a whole group that have come together to save the multiverse. So we will continue this perhaps at some point, but I wanted to read a little bit of this, as well as I'm going to look at The Just the next time, which is a world of all of the sons and daughters of the main superhero teams, and just a world that has no more crime, kind of thing. And what that means for superheroes, right? And yes, possibly before Christmas. All right, you guys, I'm going to drop off right now. So till next time, remember, it takes true courage for you to be exactly you in the cosmic game of life. So make sure that you play as exactly you, because remember, the universe is counting on you. But I got your back. Until next time, guys, bye.